Hello everyone, welcome back to our Maya 2020 tutorial series. We've been working on this construction dude for a while and we're almost done with the UVs. We've got a couple more pieces left. We're going to do these three here and then we're going to do his little carrier and his pouch on this side and the cord and glove. Hopefully get all that fitted in this little space here. Might have to accommodate a little bit, but we'll see. Let's just go ahead and dive in. We're going to start off with this piece right here. Let's go ahead and make sure we pull all these out. So I just press Shift P, that unparents them from this new group here, and we'll just clear that off. Oops. Let's go ahead and just delete history. That's the proper way of doing this, rather than just deleting the group. That's why the material turned green on us. Okay. This one here we'll go ahead and start out with. We're going to go to UVs and automatic. And actually, let's see here. This back side here, or the front side, I guess. I want this one. Actually, you know what we're going to do? We're going to do this a little bit differently. Rather than just doing automatic, we're going to go back to our trusty camera-based selection. But we're going to select this ring here. I'll press Shift and period, and I'll just grow the selection until I get about that much. And let's get this off. I don't want that one on there, or this one. Actually, we want this one. And probably that one too. And we're going to go to UV, camera based. I'll take that one over here, hit Control U. For those on Macs, that's Command U for relax. Okay, for the rest of it, I can just go ahead and select all of it like so, and deselect this section over here because I don't want it to be sewn into this shell over here. And I'll go to cut and sew and move and sew. Okay, and then I'll select this UV shell node and hit Control U. That will relax those UVs. Okay, that's good. Let's go ahead and select the model and go to delete history, freeze transforms. Don't know why I just switched out of that. Should have kept that in there. There we go. What we need to do though is, well, I want these guys out of here. What we need to do is we want to combine these guys back down. So let's go ahead and scale this side up so it's approximately the same size as this over here. Probably sew that together. There we go. Now let's go ahead and select the model over on this side. And we'll shift select this one here, and we're going to go to, make sure it doesn't do that weird thing it did last time, combine, there we go, and we'll delete the history, there we go, and we're going to UV shell mode, we'll select both sides, and we'll scale these one down kind of small. It's a small item, so it should be able to take up a fairly small amount of UV space. Let's move it up into here, and we'll put them up in this section. Okay, and let's select this one over here, and we'll just keep on moving on. So, probably don't need the back side at all. So I'm just going to go face mode and get rid of these backside faces. Okay, let's hit delete. Looks like I had a hidden one in there. Let's put that one off as well. Okay. Object mode, UV, camera based. Okay, this one I want to flare out the sides a bit, otherwise it's going to be, the textile density on the sides will be really weird. So we're just going to put some cuts along the side here. That'll make it to where it unfolds a little bit better. So we'll press Shift X with my mouse in this window. Click on the shell, hit Control U, and then I'll flare out these little side pieces, and that should be a little bit better for it. Okay, that's good. Let's go ahead and go back to object mode. And let's go ahead and save just because this UV editor sometimes causes mine to crash, so let's just make sure we're staying on top of that. Okay, now let's go ahead and select this one since it's combined all the rest of the pieces. We're going to shift select this one, and we're going to go to combine. And we're going to to delete the history. And we're now going to fit this one in over here as well. Let's go ahead and scale it down to where it's probably about, let's turn outside. Probably right about there is good. Okay, so the bolts we're going to be populating around the outside here. So the same bolt on these two as it is on the buckles. So let's go ahead and just generate UVs, UV, camera based again. And this one I definitely need some scenes for. So I'm going to go to edge mode and I'm going to double click this edge right here and I'm going to press Shift X. That'll pull the top off for me. Hit Control U. That relaxes it. Down below we have, I don't actually need this bottom part here. Let's get rid of those faces. These guys, those will never be seen. Let's just delete that. The rest of these faces though, we just take this shell and we can relax that one too. There we go. If we wanted to, we can actually put a seam down this way. So press Shift X. And that'll make it to where they won't be so stretched as they're going around. It'll give them a little bit more distance to spread around since this is more flat than this part over here is. Should just make for some better textures. Okay, so let's go back to object mode. Shift select this one. And we'll scale both these down. It's a small piece, so it shouldn't take up a lot of room. We'll just move it over here and put it in by the fingers. Right there's probably good. And we'll just take this one over here, fit it in there. That's probably good. Okay, so that's good. Let's go ahead and move on to this holster part here. Let's go ahead and just duplicate ourselves off a copy of this holster. We'll bring it over here. Now the holster has those bolts in it, and we're not going to be doing those bolts. We're going to separate it. So we're going to go to Mesh and Separate. Also, nope, I didn't. Okay. Before I forgot to combine these two. So let's go ahead and just select those. That'll give us all this. Combine, delete history. There we go. All right. Now these guys, we ran the separate, so we did mesh and separate. That separated them back into the original pieces. We want to pull these pieces out of this group, so we'll press Shift T. We'll delete the history. That'll get rid of that group. Okay. And we don't need either the screws, so we're just going to delete those off. Now we have the holster, and that's the only thing that's really left that we need to take care of. I could delete off the back side of it, but I have a feeling that it's possible that this might be seen at some point, so I'm just going to leave it as is. Let's go ahead and go to UV, and this one I think that we're going to, we'll start out with automatic, but then I'm also going to go in here and just kind of select off the faces, I think. Actually, we're in UV shell mode, so that should be one, and we can probably attach some of these into it. Okay, so let's just move these off to the side. That makes it the outside. Okay, let's just select the side edges here. We'll go to Move and Sew, and we'll select the side of these ones, and same thing, Move and Sew. I pressed G to repeat last command, FYI. So that one corner there. And what's this one here too? That's this whole bottom piece. So let's just, excuse me, Move and Sew to this part. Okay, we'll just hem up this bottom piece. Same thing right here. Let's relax it. See what we got. Okay, that's still good. Let's sew these two pieces since they obviously go to each other. Okay, so that looks pretty good. Relax that more time. All right, let's go back to our UV shell mode. Is this just one piece? It is. That's good. And what about this? That's all one piece. That's also good. And then this whole inside piece, these are all so I think that that just goes on the inside here. So you just select these bits. Okay. Taking the residual pieces here. Okay, and where do these guys go to? These go up to the top up here. Okay, so let's let those ones go up on here. How about this one? That one attaches to the bottom, so let's go ahead and let that one be attached. And that should be good. Okay. Let's delete the history. Let's combine it down. So we'll shift select this one here. And we'll go to combine, delete history, save the scene. And let's take our pieces and scale them down so they'll fit. Probably that's good. Let's go ahead and move our pieces in, try to fit them all in. This one most likely won't be seen, so I'm going to scale this one down a lot more since it's on the back side. I'm just going to hide it in here. And then this one also most likely won't be seen very much, so I'm going to scale this one down and I'm going to hide it inside, I think, this armpit hole over here. There we go. I'm trying to make some room for our last couple objects. Okay, so that's good. Now we got to do the one on this side. This one should be a little easier. This one ain't quite as complex. So let's go ahead and duplicate this one off. And the reason why these are all spaced out like they are is because inside of the texturing program we're going to use, we don't want there to be raycasts between them. If it's too close to the model, some of the raycasts will bleed onto the model. So by having them separate this like this, it creates kind of like a barrier or some distance so that there won't be bleed from when we start to bake the textures down into the model. Okay, so let's go ahead and start out by generating some UVs. So we'll just do another quick camera based. Okay, let's I think that since it has this lip here, it's gonna kind of force me to take off this part. So I'll press Shift X, cut that part off, go to UV shell mode, and I'll relax this part. Okay, and then this bottom part down here, that we're going to need to just cut off the back. Okay, Shift X. Let's go ahead and remove this part here. Let's relax it. Okay, I think that will be okay. And then the back, same thing. We'll just relax that one as well. Flip it back around. Okay, so let's go ahead and select this one, shift select this one, combine this down, delete the history, and then we'll scale this down and fit it in there. Okay. This one's on the back side, so I'll put this on the inside of this right here. All right, that's good. Let's go ahead and delete the history. And we have a couple little things we're going to try to fit in here. So we got this glove here. Let's go ahead and do a camera base selection. Okay, let's cut off the parts we know we're going to need to, which is this part here. Actually, let's do it at the wrist. Then we'll add a seam going down this way. I think that will get rid of these edges right there. We'll come around. So they got all the fingers, so that's good. No, and all the way up to the other side. Okay, so that's good as well. Let's go ahead and just cut all that. Select each piece, move it off over here. Alright, so let's flip some of this around. So we'll just relax all these. Okay. That's easy enough. Now we may end up at some point having to adjust some of these fingers so there's a little bit more distance between them. But for now I'm going to leave it as is. Freeze the transforms in this one. Let's do the history. Let's go ahead and select the model and we'll combine this down. We'll scale all this down. Okay, it's starting to kind of tighten here, so let's see what we can do. Take this side and we can put it down here. We can move this one up and scale this one down. Move it over here actually. Okay, and this one, move up here, scale this one down a little bit. That should be okay. Let's see if I have enough room to bring this one in here as well. Okay, that's good. Let's see if we can bring these guys in here. Forgot to relax that one. Okay. So that's good. Alright, so that's everything minus the cord. So we just got to do the cord really quick and then we're done. So we're going to go to, you guessed it, UV, camera based. I'm going to isolate this one too just because, well, actually, what I'll do is just duplicate this guy off and I'll move it off to the side over here. And then I'll isolate it. That'll make it to where I can just get at some of the components a little easier. So I'm going to go to edge mode. And I'll cut this part off. Add a seam down the middle, which the seam can go all the way down to the end. I don't mind that. I'll press Shift X. I'll add a cut there. And then on the end here, I'm going to want this top part cut off, so I'll press Shift X right here as well. I'm just going to sew this one part. I accidentally cut in a little bit too much. Unfold that. Let's select this one. We'll unfold this one as well. There we go. So the end of the plug is good. This end over here, let's cut this bit off as well. So press Shift X. Most likely we won't end up needing this little piece here, but just in case that you can see the other end of the hose at some point, or we want to attach something to it, I want there to be something there. Okay, so since we already add a cut down the hose, I should be able just to unfold this one and it should straighten out, which it did. That's perfect. These guys, the little prongs here, we can go ahead and all we need to do is we just need to add some cuts to separate. Let's try an X-ray. Because they're originally two different objects, remember? These are just cubes. And we just need to oops, that one there. Shift X. And just pull that off. Hit relax. Control U. Same thing here. Control U. You could probably just do it from this side, might be easier. So we'll select all the border edges and then one set of the verticals going this way. So I guess they're technically horizontal in this direction. Control U. Set the other one, hit Control U. Alright, there we go. So these are all laid out. Unhide these, turn transparency back off. Just go ahead and select all these guys here, move them off to the side. Delete the history. Okay, let's move all these little pieces in here. These could all be scaled down a bit. Okay, we'll take this one, we'll just put it up in here, or put it right there. Take this one, put it up in there. Moving all these bits in between the fingers. Maya doesn't care if you hide it in there like that. This is going to be the only real tricky one, I think. I have to be a little more creative with this guy. Scale this one down a bit. Okay, how are we going to navigate this one here? Let's start by taking this one and moving it over here. And let's see if we can create a little bit of breathing room by moving this one up here. And then this one I can move into right here. And I can move these guys over now. And let's see here. Can we move this at all? Just a little bit. Maybe down a little. There we go. Now make sure we can move this one right there. I have to scale this one down a little bit. That's good. Alright, so that should hopefully give us enough room to squeeze this guy in here on the side. Like we gotta scale the hose down just a little bit. Okay, can we? Yeah, we can move this over a little. That's good. We can move these down a little. Give this a little bit more room. There we go. Alright, so now all we got to do is select all of this, and we want to move it over to where it all fits inside this 1x1 area. we go. That 1 by 1 area means like where the green and red is. All right, so I think that we can we gotta combine these still. Combine, complete history, freeze transforms. Let's go ahead and call this low worker or construction worker. Actually, the prefix is wrong. This is mesh construction worker low. All right, so now we can go ahead and we can export these guys. So we're going to go to File, Export Selection. This will be called the dude low. And low just means low resolution, so when we send it over to wherever program we're going to sculpt in, it just identifies low as the low resolution version. And if you have a high resolution version, it'll want you to label it as high, so it can just pick up on those and know which is which. Okay, yep, that's fine. Okay, so that's going to draw us to a close on the UV mapping portion. In the next series, I'm going to, well, there's 2 series I'm going to be launching, one before the other. The first one is going to be in animation, so we're going to do rigging and animation for this guy, and then the reason why I'm doing it in this order is because I need the rigging animation portion for a class I'm teaching next term. But after that, I'm also going to do a follow-up series that's going to take the UV export mesh that we just did here and bring it into Substance Painter, and then we're going to be doing some painting and texturing on this guy in that program. So thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you guys in the next tutorial series.